Welcome back. We're still asking the question, was President Buhari's trip to the U.S. fruitless? We're getting some answers. We have the spokesperson for the All Progressives Congress and the former DG of the PDP Presidential Campaign Organization in Ogun State in the studio. Let me take a few tweets here and then we'll come back to Alhaji Lai Mohammed, who has to respond to some things that Mr. Sowunmi had said. Igor says, what about Halliburton bribe scandal? Is President Buhari going to probe it? I wish Lai Mohammed can throw more light on this. Abdul Razak Abubakar says, Nigeria's image and perception improved with the president's U.S. visit. Wike says, tell Mr. Lai Mohammed that rousing reception for a visiting head of state does not translate into economic or security gains. Asade says, APC is built around President Buhari. Without Mr. President, APC would fall apart like a pack of cards. TSE says, okay, he was hailing the two of you. He said, Lai Mohammed and Segun Sowunmi on Face Off at Channels TV. Good show. Miss Chinwanze says, I don't think there are concrete gains from the visit if we can't buy weapons. El Shabir Kabir, finally, before we move on, the president's trip is very fruitful. He met all the top officials in the U.S., which I can say is more than PDP did. Mr. Mohammed.
Right. Well, Mr. Sowunmi said, we are old, yes. We are old, yes. He says we are colonial. Probably, yes. But the issue here is, what are the gains for Nigeria? And this is why I think I want to remain focused like my government. Now, you see, people said, oh, why can't he wait for the cabinet to be constituted before he goes to America? And my answer is very simple. President Obama is in the last few months of his presidency.
He has about 18 months.
No, no, I don't think so. By January, there will be elections in January.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Mid-year elections.
Mid-year elections. You see, now, when you are invited to come and visit a state, a country, you don't say, wait for me to consult my cabinet. But the issue is, what would we have gained, which we have not gained from this trip if we had gone with the cabinet? And you see, that's why I say on 4 levels: diplomacy, economy, security, and fighting corruption. We came back with concrete gains. And this is a 3-day visit for crying out loud. And I stand to be corrected, because I've checked with the diplomatic, circles, that in recent times, no African heads of state has had as successful a trip as we've had. Now, let them tell us what else did they think we would have achieved that we have never achieved from this trip.
Okay. You see, I think I need to look for a quote that will help me capture what I need to tell him. Sir, you see, it was Winston Churchill who said that there can be no greater error than to expect and calculate upon real favors from nation to nation. It is an illusion which experience must cure, which a just national pride ought to discard. The man who said that was saying it in the midst of war. See, sir, it is unfortunate that when a political platform is rarely driven by propaganda, they will like anything that they think is a clapping match. The fight against Boko Haram is very serious. In the first instance, I and our party consider it major hypocrisy on the side of the American government to even tell Nigeria at this time that war is not a pretty thing. And we have been struggling with this Boko Haram. If we want to buy weapons to manage Boko Haram, you can sell weapons to. In any case, is America the only nation in the world that produces any of these things? And don't forget, even the visit itself for economic reasons, you don't go to an economic meeting with the biggest and one of the most powerful economic powers in the world, and you leave your big economic players behind. It doesn't work that way. It will take him time to accept, but that is the fact. On the corruption list, that is the most embarrassing. There's a difference between how you speak and how you work in opposition and when you are in government. When government makes too many convoluted statements around figures, around corruption, and there's lists and all of that, and is not really fighting it quietly, what it does is it has a reverberating effect on the economy, and we can all see it. The value of the dollar is no longer what it used to be. Even as at the time they came in, it's been going down. The economy itself seems to be slightly stagnated. The only thing that we can accept as a gain is that perhaps because you are not doing anything, you're not spending the little you have, and so you can say you are making savings. That's not the way to run a big economy like Nigeria. In any case, if their party and there are people that wanted to plan that trip had first of all told themselves that, look, whatever it is that America means to the world, that's what Nigeria means to Africa, then maybe they would have elevated the game a little bit. They gave them a list of corrupt people with their ask. Why tell us you got a list of corrupt people if you are not going to publish the list? You could have collected the list of corrupt people as part of strategic document given to you to help in your fight against corruption. You don't need to overheat the polity and the economy of Nigeria with that. So that's a no. In another area, you see, we have reached a point where we must ask ourselves, what exactly are the tangible things we need to be doing with foreign policy, given what Nigeria means? If we posit that there are lots of Nigerians in the diaspora that if you are just taking a little bit more time to cut them, they would have helped the government navigate that area better. For instance, all through the time they were in America, except for the Christian Ambao show, most of our friends in America kept complaining that none of the local channels in America was covering it. We even had to come to the defense of the country that, hey, it's a step after the other, maybe event. But there's a large number of diasporians. Whatever Nigeria needs in terms of human resources is available at home and is also available out there. But you understand, they don't get it. They can't get it because they are very hasty. They are quick to say, oh, this is what we have done. That's not, we don't even expect them to have done too much. All we expect from this government is to take the normal 100-day stabilization period to face the business of stabilizing their government and putting their house in order. The assembly is a mess, giving us a lot of issues. We've never had it that bad. So there are things that require, if the president says he's going to Cameroon, our party will not have an issue with that because we can know that the border situations between us and Cameroon requires that he should go there. But so tomorrow morning he's going to go to Japan and he's going to go to China. There are lots of countries in the world. Maybe they better make an itinerary for him that we may now know that this is the traveling president.
But I don't know where Mr. Sowunmi lives, whether he lives in Nigeria or elsewhere. Because it's interesting. If there's any person that traveled, I think I remember at a point in time, Obasanjo traveled so much that there was, there were a lot of, commentaries, but that's not the issue. The issue is very simple. You see, we've come here to discuss what are the gains of the president in the U.S. And I'm always ready to debate any issue. But since we've raised issues as to what the government has done, you give me the opportunity to remind Nigerians exactly what the government has done.
Before you remind Nigerians, this one about the list of corrupt people that you said you were given. He's saying that his party expects that he should have published it instead of just hitting on the politics.
But you see, he said we should publish it. At the same time, he said we should not publish it.
Or, if you're not going to talk about it.
You see, all I've said is that this is what America has done to assist us in our fight against corruption. They're giving us data. They're giving us data, and they've promised they're going to help us trace, stolen funds. For instance, we did not know that under Jonathan, as much as 250,000 to 1 million barrels